Michigan. It was completely not winter ready, and they ended up filming in November and close to the winter. They were having Bruce Campbell got injured all over the place on that film, and a couple of the actors did when they're being thrown around and stuff. It's just those stunt actors, stuff is falling over on them. And my favorite fact of just like, okay, talk about guerrilla filmmaking. There is a scene where he's got in the first one where he is about to cut up his girlfriend, or he's trying to, and he has the chainsaw going and he's got it running above her. It turns out that is a real chainsaw. There is no.
I never knew that.
He's just hovering it above her. And if you look in the shot, you can see her pulse just beating away because, of course, she's terrified. The poor actress, is genuinely terrified. So that was my little fact that I pulled out of that film that, takes it even to the next level of guilty pleasure, because I almost feel guilty watching it now, realizing how much they suffered for their art. And thank God nobody got hurt.
Whoa, I never knew that. That's wild.
This is why we have fun going and delving into this stuff just a little bit. There's always kind of these stories that go with it, keeping it a little to the question of the paranormal and how it goes, and even a little bit of what you were talking about, Amelia, in Hell House LLC. There are urban legends. We could do an entire another show on them of cursed movie sets. Going everyone. One that's the most topical right now is The Crow. The stories I know the best are the Omen, which were all sorts of things. Two or three different plane accidents, like planes being struck by lightning, a plane hitting a car. All of these things, and the spiritual advisor on that said this is going to happen, and this is we've angered dark forces on this film. So even in that, there's still that little bit of intertwining of the two.
No, man, I've watched way too much Scooby Doo. Did anyone investigate the spiritual advisor? Because nothing makes you look good like calling shit out. Like, hey, I don't know, but this plane might accidentally hit some car. I was targeted here. That's wild. Let's pray.
I'm just picturing Fred going up there and saying, wait a second, he isn't the Antichrist.
There's a lot of zen and good wisdom in Scooby Doo. I'm just pointing out, the spiritual advisor is talking a lot of shit and seems to be right.
It all turned out to be an insurance scam. I have to tell you, my kids found a reboot of Scooby Doo and they love it, and it's been pretty funny, but they are very tongue-in-cheek. There's even a character going up and saying, hey, are you meddling, kids? Putting the paws in there and everything else. I'm like, wow, they even just referenced their own show. Well done. Mm-hmm. So, definitely, that's probably my kids. Also, by the way, if they were on this show, they would be, I don't think they'd call it a guilty pleasure because they don't see anything guilty about it, but they've also been watching all of the Halloween Town movies from Disney. These are like all of like the worst 1998, 99 through 2004 of just, straight to TV. Debbie Reynolds, of all people, in it, gotta love it. That Princess Leia's mom. Yes, she plays a witch. It's great. What a good witch. So, and it's of course all about, all fun and hijinks. They're not really ready for the true scary stuff, but bringing the true scary stuff, bringing the guiltiest of guiltiest pleasures. I got my man, the Star Child, stepping on up to take his 10 minutes of fame here. What you got for us tonight, Star Child?
I'm going to go with your boys and say, yeah, I don't see the point of guilt in pleasure.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, you're doing it for a reason, man. Just go all the way with it. Go all the way with it. So I am going to start. I learned a long time ago, also in art school, start with the worst and end with the best. And so I'm going to start with the worst. Like, these are movies, like you were talking about with a lot of your movies, did not age well. And you still enjoy them. And they definitely went that line between being a highbrow cinephile and you're just genuinely a bad person. You're a bad fucking person. And any criticism, you deserve it. You deserve it. But, whatever you're about to say about me, just know I've said about myself. Moving on. I'm going to start with absolute trash B movie gross out horror. I just love it. I love it. I love it. It's gross, it's stupid, it's mindless, it's violent. It absolutely throws all morals out the window. I just have to go with it. I have to go with it. I still do like these movies. And let me step into the confessional a little bit here. The first one's a movie called Street Trash, came out in 1987. I don't want you. I don't want to tell you to watch it. I don't want to tell you to watch it. It is absolutely awful. It was made on zero budget. It's kind of in the vein of the Toxic Avenger. Like there's this monster involved, but there's also some residents of a junkyard who are totally violent and amoral, but they're hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. And whereas there is one scene where, yes, a woman does get gang raped to death, there is also a scene where they're playing hot potato with a severed penis. Do yourself a favor, kids. See this film.
Or not.
Or not.
I do always love when the man himself is like, yeah, don't watch this film.
Don't watch this. These are my guilty. Don't make them yours. These are my guilty pleasures. So I completely just, just sidestepping liability. The next one is, I don't know if anybody's ever seen Peter Jackson's Dead Alive.
Guilty. Been there.
Guilty, 1992.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The climax of this film is the climax of that film. And yes, it's Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings, but you totally see his style, like the way he just can't help but jump the shark every damn scene. You see where that started. Like he just didn't have a big enough budget. Like watch this movie and think about what it would have been like if this man had a bigger budget. Think about that, Josh.
Well, there's a couple. I'll wait till you're done. There's
right.
Another and exactly. Then you kind of saw what he did with, I always felt like some of that he was taking out on us with the Hobbit trilogies, but okay. He didn't direct them. I think at that point he was just like, yeah, just do what I tell you.
Just do it. The next one, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Right? Anybody? Killer Clowns from Outer Space, 1988.
HBO classic.
Yes, absolutely. Pies melting people's faces off. That should be all the advertising that it needs right there. That's it. Another one. All right, this wasn't like gory or anything, but Little Shop of Horrors.
See that? I don't know if I think that's just. I don't know if there's much guilt to that one. That one, Rick Moranis.
Say no more. Rick Moranis in a musical. I mean, come on. Like,
hey, listen, he sang with Bob and Doug McKenzie. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And we were just watching him. The kids. We have gotten them to watch Ghostbusters. That's as far into this genre as we've brought. They do like it. Yeah, I had to explain a couple of things, and we've gotten to the age where I can explain some things to my kids, but that was a little weird there too. But but
Steve Martin as the sadistic dentist, and Tisha Campbell, amazing voice on Tisha Campbell. Like she knocks those tunes out, every single one of them.
Yes.
And I couldn't help it. It's kind of an amazing movie, And there was Critters. Critters.
Critters.
Critters way more respect than that. Come on now, you got Critters and Critters too.
Yeah,
Or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these movies were, I'm admitting it, they were terrible, but you know what? They were so good. They were so good, so good. And then jumping more into the modern era, I wanted to throw in some because I think they've gotten infinitely almost like superhero movies. Like they're finally, respectable. Like these gross out movies, they have a chance to actually do some. You might even say The Fly is a gross out movie. I think the special effects when he's turning into the Fly hold up a lot better than The Fly.
That's Cronenberg, though, right?
Yeah. Say again?
The Jeff Goldblum one, Jeff Goldblum one.
Oh, that's not very recent. You're talking about 80s already.
Well, no, I'm jumping into the next because I feel like that was a little bit of a turning point because there's a movie called Teeth, came out in 2007. And it's about a girl who has, I think it's called vagina dentata, which is teeth in her vagina. And then, hijinks ensue. It's just a great movie. They do make a point in it, but it's done very smartly, and the pacing of the movie's perfect. The acting is really great. It's actually a really solid movie, but it is about a girl who's got teeth in her vagina. There's no getting away from it. Another one, this is just the Lawrence of Arabia, Godfather, Star Wars of gross out movies. Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Human Centipede. As soon as it gets bad and you think it can't get any worse, it just gets worse. And you know what? It's a trilogy. Yeah, there's 3 of them. A lot of people don't know that, because a lot of people kind of check it when you hear the premise of the first one. You're like, fuck this noise, I'm out. Or you're gonna see it. Yeah, I'm out. But no, there's 3 of them, kids. There's 3, and you can go ahead and devote an entire chunk of your life to this. Like, go right ahead, do yourself a favor. I don't know. Should I give the premise of it?
Yeah, that one you can look up on your own. I think.
Yeah, look up that one on your own. The fun, interesting fact: the inspiration of it is loosely based on Joseph Mengele and his experiments. So one of the reasons why it's so twisted and so perverse is because it's actually not that far from the things that Joseph Mengele himself did. So leave yourself with that. The reason that, you have to be picky with these, because what's the difference between, now, why didn't I put on, say, Cannibal Holocaust or, a Serbian film? Ooh, yeah,
That's, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Those are just as gross out. Those are just as gut wrenching, no question about it. But those don't actually have a horror element. Like we talked about the difference between horror porn and a sense of dread and a sense of foreboding, and what really makes horror, as opposed to just, any, villain of any movie, you know what I mean? Like any sense of fear or intimidation in the movie, like what really makes it. And, like movies like Hostel, you could say Hostel and even Saw, they've got a lot of that gut twisting violence and gore about them, but, they don't, these movies take it to that next surreal level, which in a way makes it a little bit easier to digest because they're so absurd. So it's like, all right, this is completely fucking over the top. Whereas a Serbian film, you pray to God no one's actually out there doing this. Like, is someone out there actually doing this? Or, all the controversy that surrounded Cannibal Holocaust. That was, even for a film that was fictional, that was already too much and enough for any film. So these are my picks because, they're over the top, they're gross out, they're disgusting on so many levels, and just, the sublime cinema.
The absolutely embracing the gross out.
Absolutely embracing it. And Toxic Avenger was great. You guys mentioned Evil Dead. Yeah,
these are the ones, they push their own bounds, and I think you make a great point when you point out kind of the difference between that and torture porn. That there is just kind of a different. It is trying to find that fine line between where it's very gross, it's disturbing, maybe a sense of dread, maybe a little bit of camp. Right, which as the Evil Dead movies went on and got more and more campy, some of those I was thinking, Amelia, about what it'd be like to watch the Human Centipede trilogy when you were younger on maybe yeah, I don't know if that would...
I watched the first one time, and that was enough for me. I don't even know what the third one's about.
Yeah, I don't think you have to.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't. It doesn't take much imagination. Yeah. Not much imagination.
part of taking that same movie and representing it, with just putting another number on the end of it. But when you brought up Dead Alive, you also